Okay, today is the 18th of August, and we have just come to the 37th chapter of Samyutta Nikaya, called the Matugama Samyutta, connected discourses concerning women. First sutta is 37.1. The Buddha said, monks, when a woman possesses 5 factors, she is extremely disagreeable to a man. What 5? She is not beautiful, not wealthy, not virtuous. She is lethargic, that means lazy, and she does not beget children. When a woman possesses these 5 factors, she is extremely disagreeable to a man. Monks, when a woman possesses 5 factors, she is extremely agreeable to a man. What 5? She is beautiful, wealthy, virtuous. She is clever and industrious, and she begets children. When a woman possesses these 5 factors, she is extremely agreeable to a man, attractive to a man. Then the next sutta is a converse, 37.2. Monks, when a man possesses 5 factors, he is extremely disagreeable to a woman. What 5? He is not handsome, not wealthy, not virtuous. He is lethargic, and he does not beget children. When a man possesses these 5 factors, he is extremely disagreeable to a woman. Monks, when a man possesses 5 factors, he is extremely agreeable to a woman. What 5? He is handsome, wealthy, virtuous, he is clever and industrious, and he begets children. When a man possesses these 5 factors, he is extremely agreeable to a woman. So these 2 suttas, for a person to be attractive to another, agreeable to another, these are the 5 conditions, beautiful or handsome, and wealthy, virtuous, hardworking, diligent, and can get children. This is one of those very worldly suttas. 37.3. I guess these conditions, up to today or so, they are quite hold quite true. 37.3. Monks, there are 5 kinds of suffering peculiar to women, which women experience but not men. What 5? Here, monks, even when young, a woman goes to live with her husband's family and is separated from her relatives. This is the first kind of suffering peculiar to women. Again, a woman is subject to menstruation. This is the second kind of suffering peculiar to women. Again, a woman becomes pregnant. This is the third kind of suffering peculiar to women. Again, a woman gives birth. This is the 4th kind of suffering peculiar to women. Again, a woman is made to serve a man. This is the 5th kind of suffering peculiar to women. These, monks, are the 5 kinds of suffering peculiar to women, which women experience but not men. But nowadays, the world has changed a bit. Some women, they are a bit liberated. They don't suffer all these 5. The first one, a woman, in those days, when a woman gets married, has to go and stay with the husband's family. And nowadays, not true. Nowadays, a lot of women, they don't get pregnant or give birth or serve a man. 37.4, the Buddha said, monks, when a woman possesses 3 qualities with the breakup of the body after death, she is generally reborn in a state of misery, in a bad destination, in the netherworld, in hell. What are the 3? Here, monks, in the morning, a woman dwells at home with her heart obsessed by the taint of selfishness. At noon, she dwells at home with her heart obsessed by envy. In the evening, she dwells at home with her heart obsessed by sensual lust. When a woman possesses these qualities, she is generally reborn in a state of misery in hell. I guess these 3 qualities also applies to a man. The man is selfish, and then envious, And then lustful also will go to hell. 37.5. Then the Venerable Anuruddha approached the Blessed One, paid respect and all that. I sat down and I said to him, "Here, Venerable Sir, with a divine eye which is purified and surpasses the human, I see women with the breakup of the body after death, being reborn in a state of misery, in a bad destination, in the netherworld, in hell. When a woman possesses how many qualities, Venerable Sir, is she reborn thus?" And the Buddha said, "Anuruddha, when a woman possesses 5 qualities with the breakup of the body after death, she is reborn in a state of misery, in a bad destination, in the netherworld, in hell." What 5? She is without faith, that means without faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, shameless, unafraid of wrongdoing, angry, unwise. When a woman possesses these 5 qualities, she is reborn in a state of misery in hell. But these qualities also apply equally to a man. A man is without faith, shameless, unafraid of wrongdoing, angry, unwise. He will also go to hell. 37.24. The Buddha said, "When Anuruddha, a woman possesses 5 qualities with the breakup of the body after death, she is reborn in a good destination in a heavenly world. What are the 5? She abstains from the destruction of life, that means she does not kill, abstains from taking what is not given, does not steal, abstains from sexual misconduct, from adultery, abstains from false speech, abstains from wine, liquor and intoxicants that cause negligence. When a woman possesses these 5 qualities with the breakup of the body after death, she is reborn in a good destination in a heavenly world." And this applies equally to men. Whoever keeps the 5 precepts will go for a good rebirth. Those who constantly break the 5 precepts will go to the woeful destinations of rebirth. 37.27. The Buddha said, "Monks, there are 5 powers of a woman." What are the 5? The power of beauty, the power of wealth, the power of relatives, the power of sons, the power of virtue. These are the 5 powers of a woman. When a woman possesses these 5 powers, she abides with her husband under her control. So these 5 qualities makes a woman have some power in the world, can control the husband also. Beauty, wealth, power. Relatives means he has a lot of relatives, especially powerful relatives, influential relatives. Power of sons means he has a lot of sons. 37.28. Monks, when a man possesses 1 power, he abides with a woman under his control. What is that 1 power? Power of authority. When a woman has been overcome by the power of authority, neither the power of beauty can rescue her, nor the power of wealth, nor the power of relatives, nor the power of sons, nor the power of virtue. So, for example, a king has power, or everybody fears him, including women. 37.30. Buddha said, "Monks, there are these 5 powers of a woman." What are these 5? The power of beauty, the power of wealth, the power of relatives, the power of sons, the power of virtue. If, monks, a woman possesses the power of beauty, but not the power of virtue, they expel her, they do not accommodate her in the family. Right? She may be beautiful, but if she does not have any virtue at all, they will kick her out of the house. If, monks, a woman possesses the powers of beauty and wealth, but not the power of virtue, still they expel her, they do not accommodate her in the family. If, monks, a woman possesses the powers of beauty, wealth and relatives, but not the power of virtue, they expel her, they do not accommodate her in the family. If, monks, a woman possesses the powers of beauty, wealth, relatives and sons, but not the power of virtue. They expel her, they do not accommodate her in the family. So you see, out of these 5 qualities, the virtue is the most important. 5 monks, a woman possesses the power of virtue, but not the power of beauty. They accommodate her in the family, they do not expel her. 5 monks, a woman possesses the power of virtue, but not the power of wealth. They accommodate her in the family, they do not expel her. 5 monks, a woman possesses the power of virtue, but not the power of relatives. They accommodate her in the family, they do not expel her. 5 monks, a woman possesses the power of virtue, but not the power of sons. They accommodate her in the family, they do not expel her. These are the 5 powers of a woman. So see, out of these powers, the power of virtue is the most important, even for rebirth. Monks, there are these 5 powers of a woman. What are the 5? Power of beauty, the power of wealth, the power of relatives, the power of sons, the power of virtue. These are the 5. Monks, it is not because of the power of beauty, or the power of wealth, or the power of relatives, or the power of sons, that with the breakup of the body after death, a woman is reborn in a good destination in a heavenly world. It is because of the power of virtue that a woman is reborn in a good destination in a heavenly world. These are the 5 powers of a woman. So you see, out of these 5 powers, only the power of virtue can bring you to heaven, not the others. 37.32 Monks, there are 5 situations that are difficult to obtain for a woman who has not done merit. What are the 5? She may wish, may I be born into a suitable family. This is the first situation that is difficult to obtain for a woman who has not done merit. She may wish, having been born into a suitable family, may I marry into a suitable family. This is the second situation that is difficult to obtain for a woman who has not done merit. She may wish, having been born into a suitable family and having married into a suitable family, may I dwell at home without a rival. This is the third situation that is difficult to obtain for a woman who has not done merit. She may wish, having been born into a suitable family and having married into a suitable family and dwelling at home without a rival, may I bear sons. May I get many sons. This is the fourth situation that is difficult to obtain for a woman who has not done merit. She may wish, having been born into a suitable family and having married into a suitable family and dwelling at home without a rival and having born sons, may I abide with my husband under my control. This is the fifth situation that is difficult to obtain for a woman who has not done merit. There are these 5 situations that are difficult to obtain for a woman who has not done merit. Monks, there are these 5 situations that are easy to obtain for a woman who has done merit. What are the 5? She may wish, may I be born into a suitable family. This is the first situation that is easy to obtain for a woman who has done merit. She may wish, having born into a suitable family, may I be married into a suitable family. That also easy to obtain. And then she wants to dwell at home without a rival, without a second wife. And that also easy for her to obtain if she has done merit. And if she wants to have many sons, that also is easy for her to obtain if she has done merit. And if she wants to control the husband, put the husband under her thumb, this is also easy for her if she has done merit in the past. These are the 5 situations that are easy to obtain for a woman who has done merit. So doing merit, meritorious deeds is very important so that we can get what we want. And what are the ways to do meritorious deeds? The formula is dana, sila, bhavana. Dana is doing charity. Sila is keeping the precepts so that you don't harm other living beings. The basic is the 5 precepts. And Also, you have to know the 10 unwholesome karmas, to refrain from doing the 10 unwholesome karmas. And then the third is bhavana. Bhavana is development of the mind. Through studying the Dhamma, we get wisdom, and then meditating to control our mind. And the last sutta in this chapter, 37.34, the Buddha said that monks, growing in 5 areas of growth, a woman noble disciple grows with a noble growth, and she acquires the essence, acquires the best of this bodily existence. What are the 5? She grows in faith, in virtue, in learning, in generosity, and in wisdom. Growing in these 5 areas of growth, a woman noble disciple grows with a noble growth, and she acquires the essence, acquires the best of this bodily existence. And she grows here in faith and virtue, in wisdom, generosity, and learning. The virtuous woman lay disciple acquires right here the essence for herself. It's the end of the sutta. So there are 5 things that are very good to have. The first one is faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. The second one is virtue. Virtue is moral conduct. Third one in learning. Learning is in our Buddhist teaching. Learning means to be learned in the Buddha's discourses. There's a term commonly found in the suttas, Bahu Sutta and Bahu Satcha. It means much learning of the Buddha's words, the Dhamma. And then the fourth is generosity, to be open-handed, not selfish, to be kind to others. And lastly, wisdom. Wisdom is very important. So these are the 5 things which are important. Faith, virtue, learning, generosity, and wisdom. Now we come to the next chapter, chapter 38, Jambukhadaka Sangyutta. Discourses concerning Jambukhadaka, the wanderer, the external ascetic. The sutta I read is 38.3. At one time, and on one occasion, the Venerable Sariputta was dwelling in Magadha at Nalakagama. Then the wanderer Jambukhadaka approached the Venerable Sariputta and exchanged greetings with him. When they had concluded their greetings and cordial talk, he sat down to one side and said to the Venerable Sariputta, "Friend Sariputta, who are the proponents of Dhamma in the world? Who are practicing well in the world? Who are the fortunate ones in the world?" And Venerable Sariputta replied, "Friend, those who teach the Dhamma for the abandonment of lust, for the abandonment of hatred, for the abandonment of delusion, they are the proponents of Dhamma in the world. They are the teachers of Dhamma. Those who are practicing for the abandonment of lust, for the abandonment of hatred, for the abandonment of delusion, they are practicing well in the world. Those for whom lust, hatred, and delusion have been abandoned, cut off at the root, made like palm stumps, obliterated so that they are no more subject to future arising, they are the fortunate ones in the world." And then he asked, "But friend, is there a path, is there a way for the abandonment of this lust, hatred, and delusion?" And Venerable Sariputta said, "There is a path, friend. There is a way for the abandonment of this lust, hatred, and delusion." "And what, friend, is that path?" And Venerable Sariputta said, "It is, friend, this noble eightfold path, namely right view, right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right recollection, and right concentration." And then he said, "Excellent is the path, friend. Excellent is the way for the abandonment of this lust, hatred, and delusion. And it is enough, friend Sariputta, for diligence." So, anyone who is supposed to teach the Dhamma should be teaching the Dhamma for the abandoning of lust, hatred, and delusion. Nowadays, sometimes some people are supposed to teach Dhamma, but sometimes they teach worldly Dhamma. Because worldly Dhamma is more entertaining to a lot of people, not so tough to understand. So some people, they like to listen to the Dhamma where they can laugh and be happy. But that doesn't teach you how to abandon lust, hatred and delusion. So in the Buddha's teaching, that is not teaching Dhamma. Those who are practicing well in the world are those who are practicing for abandoning lust, hatred and delusion. So that is real monks. If a monk wears the robe and he does not practice to abandon lust, hatred and delusion, then he is not doing the job of a monk. Okay, the next sutta is 38.8. In the same way, remember this wanderer Jambukhadaka asked Venerable Sariputta, "Friend Sariputta, it is said, asava, asava, or taint. What now is an asava?" And then Venerable Sariputta said, "There are, friend, these three asavas, the asava of sensuality, the asava of existence, and the asava of ignorance. These are the three asavas." Then he asked, "My friend, is there a path, is there a way for the abandonment of these three asavas?" Venerable Sariputta said, "There is a path, friend, there is a way. And this way is a noble eightfold path, as mentioned earlier." So this asava, what is this asava? Asava here, it says there are three asavas. But in some other sutta, they say there are four asavas. They add another one, the asava of views, I think. So this asava, Pali word asava, comes from a root word that means leakage, outflow. So when you destroy these asavas, you have become enlightened, you have broken the wheel of existence. Now since the world arises only in consciousness, the world exists only within the six sense consciousness, the seeing consciousness, the hearing, smelling, taste, touch, and thinking consciousness. So because the world exists in the consciousness, as long as consciousness flows, there is the world. So when consciousness stops flowing, and the world ceases. So enlightenment is defined as destruction of the asavas in the suttas. Destruction of the asavas, to me it means destruction of the uncontrolled mental outflows. Basically the uncontrolled consciousness. So when you stop the tendency of the mind to flow, or consciousness to flow, then when that person dies, the consciousness does not flow anymore, and he does not take rebirth. So asavas can be translated as the uncontrolled mental outflows. 38.9. Again, remember this wanderer Jambukhadaka asked, "Friend Sariputta, it is said, ignorance, avijja. What now is ignorance?" And Venerable Sariputta replied, "Not knowing suffering, not knowing the origin of suffering, not knowing the cessation of suffering, not knowing the way leading to the cessation of suffering. This is called ignorance. But friend, is there a path, is there a way for the abandonment of this ignorance?" There is a path, friend, there is a way, namely this noble eightfold path. So this ignorance is not understanding suffering, not exactly not knowing suffering, not understanding suffering, not understanding the origin of suffering, not understanding the cessation of suffering and the way leading to the cessation of suffering. If you understand these four things, then you understand the Four Noble Truths. If you understand it deeply, you will have become enlightened. 38.11. Friend Sariputta, it is said, flood, Pali word is oga. What now is a flood? And Venerable Sariputta replied, "There are, friend, these four floods, the flood of sensuality, the flood of existence, the flood of views, the flood of ignorance. These are the four floods. But friend, is there a path, is there a way for the abandonment of these four floods?" There is a path, friend, there is a way, namely this noble eightfold path. These four floods we have to cross to go to the other shore. to attain nibbana, sensuality or sensual desire. And then the second one is craving for existence. And the third is proliferation of views, having all kinds of silly views. And then ignorance of the Four Noble Truths. If we overcome all these, then we go to the other shore, attain nibbana. 38.12. Friend Sariputta, it is said, clinging here is upadana. Another translation is attachment. But now is clinging. There are, friend, these four kinds of clinging or attachment. Clinging to sensual pleasures, clinging to views, clinging to rules and vows, clinging to a doctrine of self. These are the four kinds of clinging. But friend, is there a path, is there a way for the abandonment of these four kinds of clinging? There is a path, friend, there is a way, namely this Noble Eightfold Path. So these four kinds of attachment we have to get rid of if we don't want to take rebirth. Attachment to sensual pleasures, to views, to rules and vows. Here it says rules and vows, sometimes translated as rules and rituals. And then clinging to the doctrine of a self, belief that a self exists. This self is a little bit different from the worldly understanding of the self. In Buddhism we say anatta, there's no self. But in Buddhism the self means something that is unchanging, something that is permanent, that will never change, and that you can identify as myself. This is me, this is I. But everything in the world is changing. So because everything in the world is changing, whatever you try to identify as yourself, it will cease to exist. Everything in the world arises through conditions and ceases through conditions. Nothing lasts in the world. Nothing lasts forever. So because everything in the world is a flux of energy that keeps changing and changing and changing, you cannot find any single thing, even a small thing, that remains permanently the same. So because there is nothing that remains the same, it arises and passes away, arises and passes away. So there is no thing called the atta, the self. 38.14. Friend Sariputta, it is said, suffering must be dukkha. What now is suffering? There are, friend, these three kinds of suffering. The suffering due to pain, the suffering due to sankharas. Sankharas can be translated as volition. Here it says formations. Thirdly, the suffering due to change. These are the three kinds of suffering. A friend, is there a path, is there a way for the full understanding of these three kinds of suffering? There is, friend, namely this Noble Eightfold Path. So these three kinds of suffering, the first one is suffering due to pain. This pain can be bodily pain or mental pain. The suffering due to volition. This was sankhara in the five aggregates. It means volition, will. When you exercise your will, you are creating karma. When you create karma, the karma will ripen, and then you get the vipaka, the core, yin core. So you create the yin, the cause, the karma, and then the result comes to you as the core, the vipaka, karma vipaka. So this is probably due to that. But according to the commentary, they say something else. They say this word sankhara refers to conditioned things in the world. So conditioned things in the world rise and fall, rises and ceases, and that gives suffering. But I think maybe it probably means the word sankhara generally is understood as volition. So if you translate it as volition, suffering due to volition, that means due to karma. The third, due to change. when we are used to something and it changes, it gives us suffering. For example, you are experiencing happiness or you are experiencing contentment, and then conditions make it change, and so you suffer. 38.15. Friend Sariputta, it is said, identity, identity. What now is identity? These 5 aggregates of attachment, friend, have been called identity by the Blessed One. That is, the body aggregate, the feeling, perception, volition, and consciousness aggregate of attachment. These 5 aggregates of attachment have been called identity by the Blessed One. Stop here for a moment. Why are they called identity? Because we tend to identify these 5 things as I or mine. And these 5 things are body, feeling, perception, volition, and consciousness. Body we understand. The other 4 is the main components of the mind. Feeling, perception, volition, and consciousness taken together is supposed to be the mind. So these 5 aggregates also mean the body and the mind. And we identify ourselves with these 5 aggregates. We take the 5 aggregates to be I or mine, or I am in the 5 aggregates, or the 5 aggregates are inside of me. So because we identify the 5 aggregates with the self, so these 5 aggregates are called identity. When we identify ourselves with the 5 aggregates, then we have identity view. My friend, is there a path, is there a way for the full understanding of this identity? There is a path, friend. There is a way for the full understanding of this identity. And what, friend, is that path? What is that way for the full understanding of this identity? This, friend, this noble eightfold path, namely right view, right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right recollection, and right concentration. This is the path, friend. This is the way for the full understanding of this identity. The last sutta, 38.16. This sutta is quite interesting. Friends Sariputta, what is difficult to do in this Dhamma Vinaya? This Dhamma Vinaya refers to the teachings of the Buddha. In other words, in the Buddhist religion, what is difficult to do? And then Venerable Sariputta said, going forth, that means renouncing the home life. Going forth is difficult to do in this Dhamma Vinaya. And then again he asked, what, friend, is difficult to do by one who has gone forth? To find delight or happiness is difficult to do by one who has gone forth. What, friend, is difficult to do by one who has found delight? To practice in accordance with the Dhamma, friend, is difficult to do by one who has found delight. But, friend, if a monk is practicing in accordance with the Dhamma, would it take long to become an Arahant? Not long, friend. That's the end of the sutta. So here, this sutta says, this is very interesting. In this Buddhist religion, what is difficult to do is to renounce the home life and go forth as a monk or a nun. And there is a sutta, I think in the Majjhima Nikaya, which gives this simile of the elephant. It's a very beautiful simile. The Buddha says that if you want to get a royal king's elephant, the king's elephant is one of the best elephants. It's been trained to fight in battles. When it's trained properly, when it goes to war, it can withstand all the blows, can stand the arrows and stand being poked by spear and all that, and it's not afraid. He will fight. The trainer just has to tell him what to do and he will fight, just like a warrior. Even if he's trained well enough, he will even give up his life for the trainer. So the Buddha used this elephant simile to say, just like it's very difficult for a person to renounce the home and go forth as a monk or a nun. So the Buddha says, a wild elephant is also like that. if you want to train an elephant, first you have to bring the elephant out from the forest. To do that, they get a few big elephants, and then they catch this elephant, maybe trap it or what. After that, they tie it with strong ropes, and a few big elephants will pull it out of the forest. It will resist. It's used to the forest. It doesn't want to come out of the forest. So it will resist very hard. Then you have to pull it out. Then after that, you bring it back to the town. Then after you bring it back to the town, you tie it. You tie it, then whether it will survive or not, that is very crucial. If you don't know how to treat it well, it will refuse to eat. It will die. So you have to know how to speak gently to it, give it the type of food it likes to eat, and all that. So if it starts taking food, then the trainer is very happy. He knows that he will survive. Then after that, the trainer will teach him step by step how to take up the food, put down the food, walk, turn left, turn right, and all that. Gradually train him until he's well trained. He becomes elephant fit for the king. So in the same way, if a person wants to go forth also, it's the same. Very difficult to pull him out from the home life to become a monk or a nun. And after, if he comes out also, when he wears the robe, whether he survives or he does not survive also is quite difficult. Some people, they survive 1 year. Some people, they survive 5 years. Some people survive 10 years. Some people survive 20 years. Some people survive 30 over years also with this robe. Quite a number of monks. So, if he survives, and then whether he knows how to train himself properly or not. So here, you see, so this one, the first part, difficult to do is to go forth. Then after going forth, to find happiness in robe is very difficult. To find happiness in robe. Because as a monk, we have so many precepts. When you think you want to eat char kway teow, you don't have char kway teow. Not like a lay person. Anything you want to do, you can do. So, the only way to find happiness for a renunciant, a monk or a nun, is to find a different kind of happiness, to go into the mind. We go into the mind, give up worldly pleasures. We find another type of happiness which is more satisfying and more lasting. In fact, even if you don't get the bliss of jhana and all that, if you practice as a good monk, you keep very good precepts, and then you conduct yourself well, and you teach the Dhamma to people, you give advice to people and all. Still, you get a lot of satisfaction of leading a useful life. A lot of people live a useless life. Especially a lot of people only care for themselves. A lot of people, we only care for ourselves, only want your own happiness, and you don't benefit other people. So that is practically a useless life. But if you lead a good life as a monk or a nun, you benefit a lot of people. Then at the end of life, you feel satisfied with yourself. You have not wasted your life. But if you want a higher happiness, then you go into meditation. Go to meditation, and then you can attain states of tranquility, like the jhanas. Then the mind gives you a lot of happiness. So you have physical suffering, but you have mental happiness. But whereas worldly people is opposite. Worldly people, they have material happiness, but they have mental suffering. That's why last time, more than 10 years ago, when I was in Australia, I found a lot of Australians coming to the Buddhist center in Perth to learn meditation, and many of them were Christians. Then I learned that they come to learn meditation to reduce their mental suffering. Actually, they are not interested in Buddhism at all. They just want to reduce their mental suffering, so they come and learn meditation. Then later, when they are able to make progress in meditation and reduce their mental suffering, then they start to have some confidence. Then they want to investigate the Dhamma. So, to find delight for one who has gone forth is difficult. Then after a monk has found delight also, to be able to practice in accordance with the Dhamma also difficult. Because a lot of monks, they don't study the suttas. So they don't study the suttas and they meditate, they get bliss. They get jhana and all that. But they don't practice according to the Dhamma, then they cannot become an arahant. The most they can get is psychic power. So here, strangely enough, to practice in accordance with the Dhamma is difficult to do by one who has found delight. So it just proves that not many monks actually practice according to what the Buddha teaches. So that's the. But if he does practice according to the Dhamma, he puts a lot of effort. Then it does not take him long to become an arahant. But then for that, he has to go into live alone for many years. That's the end of that chapter.